Hello and welcome to Doing Business in Rwanda. My name is Michael Mjisha. Now, on this particular episode, for the next 15 minutes, we delve into Rwanda's ride-hailing industry, a market segmentation that is expected to grow year on year. As analysts have been arguing that by the year 2030, this particular segment of the market would have overtaken the old way as we know transport is. Now, we do get to speak to sector players here in the country to give us a sense on their price points, on the regulatory policies, and what they are doing to see that there is further development on the same. This is Doing Business in Rwanda. Many systems have been introduced in Kigali. One of these is the tap and go in public transportation that has capped delays for travelers around the city of Kigali, enabling them to meet their deadlines and furthered better planning.
There is so much that we want. I want to wake up in the morning, get on the bus, and get to work within a certain period of time that is defined, and it should be uniform. I don't want to move from one area to another, 30 minutes today, tomorrow 45 minutes, tomorrow 1 hour and a half. You know, that inconsistency is not good. So I would rather have 20 minutes, and that's 20 minutes, 19 minutes, 21 minutes every single day, because it helps me plan. If you've managed to use the bus one of these days, you get on the bus, you tap your card, get in, very swift, and then you go. You top up your card with however much you have. So you can top up 200, which is just for one journey. You can top up 160 francs, which is, you know, for some shorter journeys. You can put money that you'll use in a month. For parents who previously used to give their children money for transport, now it's secured. They're able to plan and say, this is how much I'm giving my child, and it's going to be used for transport. And when you lose your card, as long as you have your card number, you are able to recover that money. So it's not money that is sitting somewhere and you can never access it.
City dwellers have come out saying that digitalizing the transport system, mainly in the motor taxi industry, is efficient but comes with relatively higher price points.
I don't think that is correct. I think this system is convenient. As a regulator, we make sure that the price that is being paid is the appropriate, the right price point. And also, it has a lot of conveniences. I think sometimes people look at only one side. They look at cost, but they're not looking at the benefit. If you look at this, the benefits far outweigh the cost. And by the way, you only have marginal cost, extra cost, to benefiting from this kind of service. So I think that it's a concern that really shouldn't be there.
I mean, in my opinion, the concept of digital services being more expensive is actually false. What we're looking at is formalizing an informal economy using technology not just for its convenience, but for its control mechanisms and standardization. An example would be our Free Motos platform, where it's actually cheaper, ideally free, to go to certain one of our partner organizations because the business is paid to acquire you. I believe this idea of just implanting technology into a pre-existing business model and trying to charge more for it is actually a bit flawed. And I actually think that the bigger innovation than in technology or disruption should actually be in the business models that are the enabling factors for these new technologies.
We have got two kinds of reactions. One is basically that there are people who love the service because there is no negotiation, there is no haggling, and they have all the advantages of getting a metered ride, which is a taxi service anywhere in the world. But you also have some people who have been negotiating very hard with the drivers, and then they complain that the drivers charge them more. But actually the driver's not charging them more, the driver's charging them a fair price. If you go 8 kilometers or if you go 16 kilometers, there's obviously going to be a fair difference. But the drivers here, because of the amount of competition and the fact that they are not very well educated, they normally charge the same price for 8 kilometers or for 16 kilometers if you negotiate hard. But you can imagine the amount of fuel that he burns, amount of time that he spends, and he earns very little money if he takes the same amount of money. What we did was we did a survey for about 6 months where we negotiated with the drivers, sat on the back of it, and basically took thousands of trips to different places in Kigali and calculated what was coming on the meter and what would be basically negotiated price. And we then took it and we normalized it, and we found two things. One is the minimum price in Kigali for even a short distance is 300 Rwandan francs. And for long distance, it was typically between 100 to 120 francs per kilometer. So we normalized it, saying the starting is 3 kilometers, which is 300 francs, which is valid for 2 kilometers. And after that, it's an incremental per kilometer of 110 francs.
AC Group's Tap and Go has expanded into West Africa, with Cameroon being the first market. However, back at home, the company hopes to expand into rural areas and easing the means of payment.
So we have seen the need to go out of town. And at the moment, we're in conversations with a few of the companies that are currently working upcountry. So very soon, we should be able to announce to everyone our plans. But I can assure you that we have a very, very good plan, which is going to be very simple, very swift for the people moving upcountry, in which we're going to try to integrate more payment solutions, not just tap and go. So there's Zapata Tap and Pay with MTN, Visa, MasterCard, and the likes. We're all going to put them onto one platform and try to make it as easy as possible. So we've enabled the mobile money in Tigo Cash and Airtel Money onto the platform. We're very hesitant to really launch it. We've tested it, and a few people have liked it. But you see, we've created a network of almost 200 agents all across the city. And these are new jobs that have been created. Much as there is the urge to go completely cashless and have everything totally automated, we also need to consider the fact that these jobs have been created. So we're trying to find a balance in between the two. And when we do, then we'll definitely try to also consider so much the convenience of the commuters.
The motor taxi industry in Rwanda is expected to go under a 9-month regulatory change, a mandatory move aimed at fully digitalizing the section of the market.
Well, we had outfitted about 700 drivers. There are about 620 who are active, but we are waiting for RURA to make the announcement that this has now become mandatory. And once that announcement is made, then I think we will move very, very fast, because if you have to complete 50,000 or 70,000 motorcycles in 9 months, we don't have much time.
Within 9 months, we have set 9 months. The regulatory board of RURA, in fact, passed new regulations for the motorcycle business. And we have made this mandatory, but we have put a timeline of 9 months. So that is from now until September 2018, where all the motorists countrywide will be able to register, start using this service, and the passengers, of course, will enjoy the service. Yeah.
Players in the transport sector believe that growth is possible, but there is need to focus primarily on the value added for their clients, for it would be the only way to grow their businesses.
We haven't been focused on trying to grow to the highest number of trips, because that's fairly easy to do. You just lose money at a per trip level. Rather, we've been trying to understand what actual value can we provide to our customers, because once you actually provide value, then everything else becomes easier. So say, for example, while we've done 150,000 trips last year, it wasn't the growth we were hoping for in trip volume overall, but then it was even more exciting because our highest profit per trip comes from partnering with the corporate sector, where employees of businesses take the Safe Moto service. We're averaging 6% week-on-week growth over all of 2017. So, you know, the concept isn't just what does it mean to lose money, rather how do you make money by providing value to customers? Then once you're seen as providing a valuable service, then you're growing in the right direction.
There's also the return on investment in terms of have we seen impact? And one of the reasons as to why we started, are we seeing that there's a change? And that I can say we've actually gotten it. And you know, as you attain more and achieve more, then you want more. So we're setting higher and higher targets for us, and setting newer ways in which we can serve our clients. And as we achieve them, then we set even higher. So I must say that we are happy with where we are, and we are very, very excited about the future.
Ride-hailing is seeing more players entering the market in Rwanda. However, pioneer in this particular space, Bart Nash, cautions them on consumer behavior as something to invest a lot in.
The disadvantage of disruption and leapfrog is sometimes you kind of don't actually know the way you're going to go forward. What we found is principal bottlenecks are things that we didn't initially think about at the beginning. A Rwandan consumer behavior, the way users who are new to smartphone technology engage with technology, the capacity of people to understand map user interface. What we've discovered is that just trying to drop existing Western business models and user experience best practices into Kigali doesn't make sense because this is a different market. However, because there's been really no one who's understood deeply the technology habits of Rwandans, it means that really you need to pioneer these habits. And that's something that needs to go step by step, because understanding something that hasn't been understood yet means that you need to be the one who brings it forward in a way that, you know, is not just trying to go, well, what did Uber do in America? But rather, what would your cousin, who's just got a smartphone for the very first time, has never used one before, how would he use the technology?
Yegomoto introduced a meter system at their entrance in the market, with security being a big part to digitalizing the motor industry. However, this platform has met a couple of challenges.
When we first brought on the meters, we found that we had kept some methods for us to be able to update the software. Then we found that some clever people here had found ways to open the phone, but we have closed that door. Now the meter is basically just a meter. You can't use it for anything else. So it's completely secure from a driver perspective, from a passenger perspective. No one can change with the fare or charge extra. And at the same time, the entire platform is very, very secure.
The best way to have a successful transport system is generating accurate data for buses, motor taxis, trains, and so forth. This requires setting up internet and technology infrastructures to facilitate the growth.
And that's pretty much where we'll leave it on this episode of Doing Business in Rwanda. Sector players arguing that it is not necessarily about the price points or the revenues that they are making at the time, but looking more on the consumer behavior as the best way to grow the business in Rwanda. Now, if you have any suggestions or any information that you would like to get from our team, you can simply send us an email at dbir@abn360.com or tweet us to DBI Rwanda. My name is Michael Mjisha, and from the entire Doing Business in Rwanda team, thank you very much for watching.